I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit before I show the market stats and the updates. So, I'm on the Vancouver team here, and myself, I started in investing first through fix and flips with my brother. After that, I was hooked, got myself saved up some money and got an investment property. And ever since then, I couldn't turn back away from real estate. So I went to UBC, got my course and started studying for the exam. And during the time before I took the exam, I met Devin Gray. So big shout out to Devin because he actually introduced me to James. And by meeting Devin, I met James and, just really hit it off. And, he was planning to expand to Vancouver, and I told him I wanted to be an agent on his team. And so it was really a great opportunity to join the Mogul team and have his expansion here to Vancouver. So that's a little bit about me, but I will get right to the bread and pudding of the market stats. So I'm going to just share my screen here. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the highlights in May. So, we've got detached, we've got townhouses, we've got apartments. So, this is for Metro Vancouver. And, the benchmark price here is, the $1.8 million range. Townhouses, we're looking at just under $1 million, and condos in the 730 range. So, the active listings for detached are around 4,700, townhouses around just under 15, and active listings for apartments and condos just under 5,000. So the sales, 1,400 for detached, 800 for townhouse, and just under 2,100 on the sales of apartments. Average days on market are pretty similar across the board. Townhouses are a little bit less. And, I'm going to go into more details of what those numbers mean. So here we have the stats for the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board. We got April and May, and then we also have a year-over-year stat as well. So I'm going to start with detached properties and talk about active listings. So active listings in April versus May, we had more properties hit the market in May. Year over year, we're looking really good at 14% growth rate, which is good. And our sales, we're looking at about 1,400. Year over year, we're looking at 163% growth, which is crazy. Now, of course, last year was mid-COVID, things were slowing down. The world really didn't know what was going on. So, things are lightening up, and we're starting to open up restaurants and start to see our friends and family again, which is great. The benchmark price that we see, days on market, we're seeing 19 days on market. So, as of, last year, 45. So, we're seeing multiple offers, subject free bids, and we saw a lot of craziness. And, things are starting to slow down. As you can see, in April, we had 17 days on market, whereas in May, we had 19. So a couple extra days, but it allows you to get some due diligence done and hopefully get yourself a great property. So next to condos, total active listings in 2021 versus 2020, just under 1% growth. Of course, the way things were last year is totally different than the way the world is now, which is fantastic because, we did our due diligence and we kept safe, and now the world is starting to open up, which is great. The sales, we're seeing a big growth in sales versus over 20 and 2021. And active days on the market, 19 days versus April of 24 days. So condos were starting to go a bit faster. Now, I personally think that was because prices for homes were going over asking, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000 subject free, which is like crazy. So people were getting out of their budget. So $1 million home was going for 1.2. So now their budget, it has to resort to, townhouses or condos. So in my opinion, that's why I felt that, the days on market and how fast the condos were selling. The benchmark price, 730, last month, 728. So, you're seeing a little bit of growth as well. Onto the townhouses, total active listings, 1,200 flat versus last year, a little bit less this year. Townhouses as well, I think, were another option of people having to resort based on how fast and how high outrageous prices were getting offered on detached properties. So as you can see, the sale ratio, it went down a little bit as well from April to May. The days on market were a little bit less, so it's showing attention as the townhouses started to become a little bit more desirable and more affordable. The benchmark price, 930,000 versus April 920. But year over year, we're seeing a fairly big amount of growth, a little bit more than $100,000, which is great. And for my opinion, if you can get yourself a good deal, go for it. But again, do your due diligence. If you're writing subject free, look at maybe doing a pre-inspection before you write the offer on the offer dates, and have a great agent that knows what he's doing and can guide you through getting yourself a great deal. So that is the Vancouver market stat updates. So I appreciate it, James, for having me up and speaking on it.